benefit from the Canadian education. So I believe I can just go straight to share what I had
Oh,
with
yes,
us.
definitely. Definitely. Please go ahead. So you have your co-host. You can also share your screen in the case that you have a slide for us.
Absolutely, absolutely. I do have one. Please let me know in case you are able to see my slide.
Yes, I can see your screen.
Wonderful.
Okay.
Let me just hide this and have it on presentation mode. Well, I trust that we can see that, all of us. So my name is Kennedy, as I have been introduced. I am the Cambrian College Africa Market Representative. That simply means I support applicants and agencies to enroll for programs at Cambrian College. Today, I would like us to look at what we had earlier shared as our topic, the cutting edge element of Canadian education. I hope I'm audible enough. Patricia, would you mind to give me some feedback as I look to proceed?
Yes, you're audible.
Yes,
I
please
trust you
proceed. We
hear me
can hear
now.
you. You're
Okay.
audible enough. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Yeah, so today I'd like us just to begin by really sharing a little bit about the cutting edge element of Canadian education. Like in essence, why Canada, and like so many other destinations that have been there and many that are coming up. You might want to ask yourself, why Canada? There's so much that you can talk about with regards to Canadian education. A lot of people talk about 20, 25, or 30 things about Canada and so much more. But today, I would just like to mention three that I feel they are critical for international students who are looking to do their further studies in Canada. Number one is that Canada has the highest quality of life that any international person can look for. Canada has the highest quality of life. And this is primarily because of the second thing. Canada has the largest middle class. You will notice, guys, that in every country, there is the rich, and in every country, you can imagine, there is the poor. That is our reality. That is the life that we live in. But what makes Canada to stand out, it has the largest middle class in the world. So that means the country in general have people who are living comfortably, has the largest number of people who are living comfortably. That is, they're able to take care of their needs, they're able to have enough to save, they're able to have enough to have fun, they're able to have enough to develop themselves in the different ways they would wish to develop themselves. So this second factor makes Canada one of the most attractive destination for international students because it has the largest middle class in the world. And the third, and one of the other outstanding things about Canada is that Canada has numerous jobs and immigration opportunities. Well, I combine this because in Canada, that is often the pathway to become a Canadian, either permanent resident or a citizen. I'll mention that a little bit later, but just to let you know, Canada presents one of the cutting edge opportunities for international students to get jobs or even to pursue immigration opportunities that are there. But here is the challenging part. Not everyone really, or rather, not every way can lead you to Canada. Not every way can lead you to Canada. You need to be very strategic. You need to be very clear on the best way that can get you to benefit from international education in Canada and also the opportunities that are there post your education. And so today I would like, as a second thing, is to discuss this extraordinary gateway to Canada. And to begin with, the first thing I would like to mention is Where you land in Canada is very, very important. Why? Because different provinces in Canada tend to have different regulations and also different opportunities. That means a province, let's say like Ontario, has a different set of especially education regulations, different from, let's say, British Columbia or Manitoba. And so it's important for you to know or to determine the city and the province that you're coming to Canada. And one of the best that I could present today is the city that I know very well of, and this is the city of Sudbury. In many ways, Sudbury is referred to as the nickel city of the world or the city of many lakes, a city of many lakes, because this is a beautiful city in the province of Ontario that is only about an hour's flight north of Toronto. But for the adventurous ones who would wish to go by road, it's 4 hours by road from Toronto, but still within the province of Ontario. It happens to be the largest city in Northern Ontario. And one of the things that makes it one of the largest city, it is the facilities and the opportunities that are available in this city, including the headquarters for the Canadian Revenue Agency is found in this city of Sudbury. It's a beautiful place with over 300 lakes, with about 9 parks, and it's a vast city. It's a vast city of over 3,000 square kilometers. Just to give you a pictorial reference, it could be over 3 times the size of Lagos. And for those in West Africa, which I believe most of us are there, it is a massive city, but with wonderful, wonderful opportunities. But at the same time, it has nowhere close to Lagos population. Its population is much, much, much less. Surprisingly, less than 10% of what you could find in Lagos. So this city presents you wonderful opportunities of a big city with all the facilities that you can imagine, but also with a feeling of a small town, which is very affordable and very conducive, especially for international students. But either way, you would get all the entertainment you would wish for. You will get all the education opportunities, not just for you, but also for your dependents that you might be able to travel with or invite over after you've gone. And it also has wonderful quality of life, synonymous with the country, but stands out a big city with a small town feeling. Thank you for those who are joining us. Please remember to mute your microphones. Let me just share a short video. I hope we will be able to do a short video about the city of Sudbury. Well, that is just a sneak peek of the city of Sudbury. You can get to learn more or see more about Sudbury by visiting discoversudbury.ca or actually getting an opportunity and coming over. So let me share with you one other wonderful aspect about Sudbury, and this is the Cambrian College, of which I represent. So Cambrian College happens to be the largest college in Northern Ontario, and it has been in existence for literally more than 60 years, but it still remains to be what we regard as a small college because we only have about 5,000 full-time students. Half of these, about 50% or around 2,500, being international students. And these international students are drawn from over 70 nationalities represented in the campus. I would say about 35 of them, actually really 50% as well, are drawn from the various and diverse African countries. And one of the things we also like about Cambrian College, it's the programs that we offer. At the moment, we offer majorly undergraduate programs, but with a set of postgraduate certificates. And one synonymous thing about all our programs at Cambrian College is that they are very, very hands-on, which makes our graduates highly marketable, not just in their home countries, but more especially in Canada. So much so that over 85% of our students find a job within the first 6 months of graduation. In fact, there are those who also get it in the course of their studies, but then they are only allowed to work full-time once they are done with their programs or when they're in their semester breaks. I'm sure you're going to discuss that more during our question and answer session. We are also happy to be among the top 25 research colleges in Canada. This is important because unlike probably most of the college context in different parts of the world, colleges in Canada are very synonymous with the research. This is one of the things that makes Canadian college programs stand out because they're not just hands-on, they're not just technical, but they also are research-oriented or research-based, which makes college programs in Canada quite stand out. We'll show other features that make the Canada college programs stand out. And so our programs are divided in about 12 broad categories, but we have programs in business, such as accounting and administration. We also have a number of community programs. These are the likes of child and youth care, developmental services worker, early childhood education, and so forth. We also have a number of engineering programs, including electronic, mechanical, chemical, and the new field of engineering, which is mechatronics, that combines both mechanical and electronic. We also have a number of environmental studies that are synonymous with international students who look to work in the natural environment, including mining. And we also have a number of health sciences, and these include one of our popular programs, which is personal support worker. We also have a number of information technology programs. These are computer systems, computer programming, and so forth. And then we also have nursing. We also have programs in skills and trades. And this particularly, I would want to mention, it's highly, highly marketable in Canada because at the moment in cities like Sudbury, a lot of skilled traders are required in that part of the world. And that makes it very, very marketable in Canada. We also have a number of degree programs around business and nursing, but we also have a good number of postgraduate certificates for those who have completed their diplomas or degrees or even masters, and then they get to have a 2 to 3 semester program that will help them in their job placement, particularly in Canada. And these postgraduate programs, they cut across our different fields of studies, that is business, community service, engineering, IT, and also health sciences. And so the other interesting thing that I'd like to bring to your attention is what we call the pathways. Cambrian College has over 700 pathways, and this simply means once you're done with most of the Cambrian College undergraduate programs, which are the diplomas, They enable you to enroll to institutions of higher learning and get what we may regard in our context as credit transfers, okay? So instead of doing a degree program for like, could we kindly have our microphones muted? Thank you. So instead of like doing a degree program for 4 years, you can get to, have credit transfers and you end up completing your degree after doing an undergraduate program with us at Cambrian College for about 2 or so years. And there are many, many opportunities in that, over 700, as I had mentioned. And guess what? For Cambrian College, it's not all just about books and studies. You have lots of opportunities to have fun. Like I had previously mentioned, we have a lot of parks and lakes that you can go and have your recreational facilities, but we also have organized cultural events and programs, both intramurals, that means within the university, and also at the city level, where you can get to have a lot of fun activities that are there at Cambrian College. And once you graduate from us, the beauty of being in Cambrian College and Sudbury as a city, there are lots of opportunities for significant jobs. It's important for me to mention at this point that a number of international students, as we have noticed as an institution, they end up compromising on their permanent residency pursuit by going for just any job that comes their way, which pays well. In essence, what we encourage our international students is to look for what we regard as significant jobs, jobs that are in line with their studies, because that enhances their chances or their opportunities for permanent residency. And so for Sudbury, you have opportunities in business and professional services. You have opportunities in technology. We also have the third largest film industry in Canada. We also have opportunities in research and innovation. One of our outstanding facilities in Sudbury is what we call the Science North, huge and one of actually the biggest research institute in Northern Ontario. We also have opportunities in healthcare and life sciences. We have opportunities in tourism. And last but not least, if anything, it's our largest. We have lots of opportunities in manufacturing and mining. Like I initially said, Sudbury is regarded as the nickel city of the world because this is the source of the largest nickel mine in the world. So you have lots of opportunities if you come to Cambrian College to get a significant job, not just in the campus or within the campus, but also most importantly, around the city of Sudbury. And just to mention some of the other opportunities you get once you graduate from Cambrian College, it's the opportunity or you become eligible to apply for permanent residency. And how permanent residency simply works is consideration is made of your studies and your work experience, of which both they combine to consider the nature of decision they will make with regards to your pursuit for a permanent residency. So a lot of international students who come to us with permanent residency in mind, after taking up their programs, all our academic programs are eligible for what we call a post-graduation work permit, which goes for a maximum of 3 years. And so when you combine your studies and the experience you gain using the post-graduation work permit, then you become eligible for permanent residency. And it's pretty much that simple, but we have a student services department that trains our international students on the opportunities that are available with regards to permanent residency. But for the sake of our conversation today, I would just like to mention two opportunities that make Sudbury an outstanding city for you to become a permanent residency. It's because Sudbury has a program called Rural and Northern Immigration Pilot Program. It's no longer actually a pilot, it is now a full program where if you're a student in Sudbury, then under this program, you'll become eligible to apply for your permanent residency. We also have, as being part of the Ontario province, an international student stream of Ontario, which also makes you eligible to become a permanent residency by the virtue of your studies with us at Cambrian College, and in extension being in the city of Sudbury. And so these programs are limited really to the city that one is, and Sudbury is lucky enough to be among the 11 cities in which the RNIP program is admissible. And so, like I said when we were beginning, it's very, very important for you to know or to be aware of the city or the province that you are coming to, because different cities, different provinces have different regulations with regards to education and also migration. If I could move on after having mentioned those two programs, like I had said, there are quite a number of services that we offer to our students at our Services and Support Center for those who are looking to be supported with regards to their career, with regards to their international immigration status, with regards to research and development. We have departments that support our students with this same regard. And so this really makes Cambrian College a very suitable college for international students. And just to mention something about the tuition fee, we regard our tuition fees as really quite affordable if you look at different destinations and across different countries. I understand there are even actually some institutions locally in Africa that charge sometimes as much as what is charged in our college, but definitely the quality of education is much, much different. And so our programs range about 17,000 Canadian dollars per year, but you will not necessarily need to pay the whole fee at a go, but you'll be required to pay a minimum of a first semester fee in order for you to get your final offer. And with this regard, we also tried as an institution to make it much, much more affordable and achievable for international students by introducing a 500 Canadian dollars book scholarship. We've also introduced a 1,700 residency scholarship, so that instead of paying 900 Canadian dollars per month for the on-campus residency, for the first semester, you get to pay 450 Canadian dollars per month for international students. We also have a number of awards and scholarships for our continuing students. And so the burden might be slightly heavier on the first semester, but going forward, then you are certain to be eligible for some scholarships, which are purely merit-based. And so joining us at Cambrian College, I would say it's pretty much, I wouldn't want to say easy, but truth be told, is quite achievable to join us in Cambrian College. And you would notice it's much, much easier to get into a Canadian college as compared to probably most universities, simply because most of our programs will only require you to have completed your high school to join our diploma programs or our advanced diploma programs. And you will only be required to have completed at least a diploma for you to join our postgraduate certificate programs. And with regards to your English proficiency, a lot of countries, especially African countries, would not require to show proof of English proficiency, especially if you come from a nation or a state whose official language is English. And I believe a good number of West African countries, they fall into this category, because I appreciate and acknowledge that today, I believe most of our audiences today are from West Africa. And so you may not necessarily be required to show proof of English proficiency, but just in case you're required, if you're particularly coming from a Francophone country, then there are a variety of English proficiency programs or other test scores that you could provide for you to get admitted into a Cambrian College program, be it a diploma or a postgraduate certificate or even our degree programs. And so by and large, I would say really Cambrian College and Sudbury as a city provides really an accessible cost of living, because if you try to compare living in cities like Sudbury with those of the other bigger cities, I'm sure we know some of them, you will find that Sudbury is quite affordable. I'm actually happy to note that a number of international students who've been able to attain permanent residencies in Canada have, within the first, I would say, 2 to 4 years of working, already bought their houses in Sudbury. It's that affordable, it's that achievable. Sudbury also prides of having a safe and welcoming community, because for the sake, especially of the French speakers, Sudbury has the third largest as well. It has the third largest Francophone community outside Quebec. And so it's a place of diversity. It's a place where whether you're from an Anglophone or a Francophone speaking country, then you will find a community to live with. And we regard as a smaller city, and so definitely the quality of life there, it's not as fast, it's not as aggressive, but quite conducive for international students. And over and beyond that, you are certain to be eligible for the numerous immigration opportunities that the city of Sudbury has for you as an international student, as well as the career opportunities, and to take advantage of the support that you receive from our team at the International Advising Office. And so it will be my joy to get to interact with you and just get to know. In case you may have any questions about Canada education in general and Cambrian College programs in specific. Maybe back to you, Patricia.
Thank you so much, Kennedy. I think you've done justice to giving us, or everybody here, quite important details that they will need, in terms of tuition fee, life in Sudbury, what
Yes.
the community in Cambrian College is and feels like, right? So I have a few questions here with me
Please.
that I'm going to ask before we begin to entertain questions from the audience. So my first question is, we know that now the process of getting admission is different from how it was as at this time last year, being that there is now provincial attestation letters. So what is
Yes.
the process with getting the attestation letter, and how long does this take? And what is required for anyone to get a provincial attestation letter?
Great. Thank you for that question. I would begin by saying that I believe Canada, in pursuit of maintaining its high quality of education and also of the livelihoods, they sought to introduce measures to ensure that at least they are certain of where students are going to, and if there are enough facilities for them to be received in especially the city or the province that they are going to. And so for that reason, they introduced the provincial attestation letter, which, for the benefit of those who are yet to interact with this requirement, it is simply a letter from the province acknowledging that this particular international student has successfully secured an offer from an institution in that province, and that they are expected to come to that province, and that there are enough resources to host them in that province. And so for us at Cambrian College, we have integrated this into our application process, and you would therefore not be required to do any further process beyond the regular application process. So I could take advantage of this and also mention now our application process. So you will, on the onset, be required to submit your application through our admissions platform, which is regarded as OCAS. I'm sure Maple Education is very familiar with it, and that's what they use to process students that are coming to Cambrian College. And Once you submit your required documents and information, you will be asked to pay an application fee, which is non-refundable. Once you get this done, you will receive what we call a pre-admit letter. This letter is from Cambrian College that simply gives you the details of your program, including when to expect your program to start and the tuition fee that you'll be required to pay. So once you have this letter, you're given up to 3 weeks or 21 days to pay for your first semester fee, which is about 50% of the annual fee that is listed on our website or on our program list. And so once you pay this, then in about 10 days, actually, 10 working days, that's about 2 weeks, you will receive 3 documents. One will be the final offer, of which you can use to apply for your study permit. Secondly, you will receive the provincial attestation letter. And then lastly, you will receive your final receipt. And then these are the documents you could use or you are required to use when you're applying for your study permits. So all this will be happening on that application processing platform with the guidance, of course, of your agency, in this case being Maple Education. So for us at Cambrian College, the provisional attestation letter will take about 10 days after you make your first semester payment, and it comes to your portal on the application processing portal, and you will not be required to make any further processes that are outside the regular admissions process.
All right, thank you so much, Kennedy, for answering that question. Mr. Taiwo Samson, I'll give you an opportunity to ask your question. Let me just finish with those that I have here, and then we'll treat yours. So my second question is, does Cambrian College allow students to work while they study, and what is the work hours a student is allocated?
Oh, great. Thank you for that question. So yes, for Cambrian College, all our programs, I would say except 2, gives you an opportunity to work part-time as an international student. The 2 that are exempted from this is English for academic purposes, and the other one that we call pre-health. So these are pretty much foundational programs for those who are seeking to pursue other programs, and they require to upgrade their English, or they require to get some familiarization with the health industry before they can proceed to their health programs. So all Cambrian College programs except these 2 have the eligibility for their students to work while they study part-time. Now, for a long time, Canada has been allowing students to work 20 hours, maximum of 20 hours per week. But starting September, we have a new policy that will allow international students to work a maximum of 24 hours a week. So we have 4 extra hours for international students to work every week from the 1st of September, which I believe most of us who would be coming to Cambrian College would definitely be joining us not earlier than 1st of September 2024.
Okay, that's good. Does Cambrian College help with job opportunities when a student has graduated from the college?
Absolutely. So what we do, we have the International Advising Office, which helps students to apply for what we call the post-graduation work permit. Once you graduate and you apply for this, then you would be able to work full-time for a maximum of 3 years. And this is highly dependent on the length of the program that you had. If you were pursuing a program that was less than 1 year, then you can only go for a maximum of 1 year in your post-graduation work permit. But if your program was more than 1 year, then you are eligible to get a post-graduation work permit of not more than 3 years. So as Cambrian College, we support our students in getting this post-graduation work permit through our International Advising Office.
Excellent. And my final question is, sometimes it's difficult for international students, especially from Nigeria, to leave a community that they're very familiar with, to move to a community that they're absolutely not familiar with the weather, the people, the culture, and so
Yeah.
on. So just for the people here, what measures or what systems are put in place to help international students to settle in?
Oh, wonderful. That's a really good question. So Cambrian College has several elements to support international students in settling down in Sudbury. One of it is through one of our platforms we call iSent apps. You can be able to request for an airport pickup once you land in Canada. So we have that opportunity for you on the iSent app. The iSent app comes in on the last stage of your application process. Once you've gotten an offer from Cambrian College, you've gone ahead and applied for a study permit. Once you receive that, then you will be able to download the iSent app and get to finish your registration process on this. And part of it will include a request for airport pickup once you land in Canada. So we support our international with airport pickups. Secondly, all our international students are eligible for 2 nights free at three of our best hotels in Sudbury for the first 2 nights. This is to help you just to settle in. So once you get into Sudbury, you can check into either Best Western or Hilton Park Hotel. You'll be briefed on this on your pre-departure so that you can be able to settle in. So you get 2 nights free from either of these hotels as you find your residency, either on campus or off campus. And lastly, as part of our support to international students, we have a student council that has organized students from different countries in associations that help with their kin when they come over to Sudbury. We'll help them just to settle around. So we have a very vibrant student council that helps our international students to settle in. And I must say, yes, Africa, we are doing very well in terms of supporting one another settle down in Sudbury.
Great. It seems like you have a good system set up for helping international students settle in.
Absolutely.
I know before I asked my previous question, I said last question, but
Yes.
I promise it's going to be my final question.
No problem.
Right?
We have the time.
Yeah. So we've particularly noticed a trend because we help students submit their applications.
Yes.
A trend where students are beginning to pay attention to the jobs that are high in demand in Canada.
Yes.
And are gearing towards studying those programs instead.
Yes.
Right. So, as a student counselor, what programs would you advise us to study if we want to immediately find a good paying job after we graduate in Canada?
Amazing. Thank you for that, Patricia. We've noticed an interest by the Canadian government to promote what we regard as the STEM programs, okay? So these are the science and health programs. We also have the technology programs or technical programs, the engineering programs, and the math-oriented programs. So for Cambrian College, at the moment, we don't offer any math program, but we have a number of science and health programs. These are the ICT programs, as I had initially mentioned. We have computer systems technology, computer technician. At the diploma level and at the postgraduate level, we have the mobile application and the cybersecurity programs. We also have, with regards to the same science and health, we have a number of health programs such as developmental services worker. We also have a personal support worker. We do have occupational therapist and physiotherapist assistant. So science and health programs are highly marketable in Canada, and Canada is in need of practitioners in this field of science and health. We also have technology-oriented programs and technical programs. I must say that, yes, they may not be very popular, especially in the African continent, but coming to Canada, they are in need of skills trade workers. These are people in the line of, motive power technician, the heavy equipment technicians, the caterpillars and the likes. for mining and also for infrastructural development. There's also a big need for welding and programs such as industrial mechanical millwright, heating, ventilation, and air conditioning technician. All these are in high demand in Canada, particularly in cities like Sudbury. And then last but not least is engineering. Canada, and like many other developed countries, they are in need of engineers. And so for us at Cambrian College, we do offer electrical engineering, mechanical engineering, as I had initially mentioned. We also have mining engineering technicians that are in high demand in Sudbury, more specific, and also in the new field of mechatronics, which combines mechanical and electrical engineering, as well as power engineering technology. So engineering industry and program as a whole, they are also in high demand in Canada. So as a wrap up on this, just keep STEM in your mind. Any science and health, technology or technical engineering and math programs, they're in high demand in Canada.
Okay, so there you have it, guys. I particularly ask these questions for students who are intending to study in Canada and need to know the programs to study. So STEM, science, technology, engineering, mathematics, healthcare, trade programs as well. So please keep this in mind. So these are all the questions that I have from my end. Thank you so much, Kennedy, for answering as detailed as possible. Very, very
My pleasure. My pleasure.
Yeah, do we have any questions from the audience? I think that is Samson raised up his hand before, but maybe.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes, Taiwo Samson. Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah, would love to know your name and probably where you are engaging us from.
Yes, good morning. Well done, Mr. Kennedy and our host.
Yes.
My name is Taiwo Samson. What program can I apply? I have higher national diploma in accounting. So, and I'm eager to apply through your school, maybe through the postgraduate studies. So which one can I go into?
Absolutely. Thank you, Taiwo, for that. I would have loved to know where you're engaging us from, especially the city. But just to get to answer you, the beauty
Yes,
about
I'm from Osun State, Nigeria.
Oh, so okay, wonderful. Thank you for that. The beauty about most of our programs in Cambrian College, particularly the postgraduate certificates, you pretty much are required to have you have to have completed any diploma program for you to be able to eligible to a number of postgraduate certificates, particularly in business or in the general health. So what I've done, I have just shared our website, that's cambriancollege.ca, and I would love for you to go just search on the search box, you put a name of any program you may want to consider, or even a field like, let's say, business, and then it will give you a number of courses, because we have over 70 programs. Then you might be able to look at the overview of the program and the admission requirements, and you would see the specific requirements you are needed. So with a higher national diploma in accounting, then you could be able actually to be eligible for a number of programs. Only probably the ones that you might be exempted for are the health that require some very specific academic units, such as biology, chemistry, physics. But from our website, you should be able to see that. But I think with an accounting higher national diploma, you're eligible to all our business programs, as well as a number of other graduate certificates that we have. I don't know if that gives you an idea of what to expect when you engage with our platform.
Yes.
Yeah.
Another question, sir.
Yes.
Can you help us to appeal to the management of the school to give us the chance to apply, maybe by waiving it for those that attend the webinar?
Or to do a waiver on what specifically?
On application field.
Okay. Well, thank you for that thought. Unfortunately, at the moment, we may not be able to waive the application fee. It currently stands at 95 Canadian dollars. I don't know how much that translates probably to your local currency.
That's almost $150,000.
Okay. Yeah. So at the moment, we may not be able to get that. A number of guys, especially from my region, have been asking for that, but unfortunately, we are not able to get the waiver. But we highly encourage you, if you are able to get the application fee, and even before you start, it's best for you to just have all your financial obligations in picture, and you try your best to resource for it, because as I had initially said, you're only given about 3 weeks to pay your first semester fee, which is about 8,000 Canadian dollars for you to get your final offer. And so it may be a little bit tricky. Even if we offer the waiver, then there's still the first semester fee that needs to be paid. And this is not just a college requirement. It came with the introduction of the PAL, that students are required to pay for their first semester fee. Previously, we used to even just allow a deposit and you're good to go. But right now, I think in preservation of the quality, in preservation of the standards for the Canadian education, then there was a requirement to at least ensure the international students who are coming over, they have, the financial readiness to partake the programs and also to sustain themselves in the Canadian system. So for now, it may be a bit tricky, but I would really encourage us, if you're just able to be very ready before you even begin the process, so that you may not have barriers in between. Again, our programs, some of our popular programs, they fill up quite fast. You might have them open when you're beginning the application process. But if you dilly-dally in the process for about 4 to 8 weeks, then by the time you are about to complete, then you realize the program is already unavailable. So before you get the offer. So it's important for you to be very ready, especially with the financial obligations, before you start or commence on the application process.
All right, Kennedy, thank you. I might also need to mention that
Yes.
occasionally some colleges and universities in Canada give admission waivers. It just depends on the school's constraints at the time. So if you're
Yes.
looking to get an additional application fee waiver, maybe even a scholarship, you might have to browse the website of the school. And Kennedy has dropped the website, so you can occasionally check,
Yes.
who knows, you may be able to enjoy one of these benefits. They're not always available, but sometimes they are available. And all you just need to do is, do your research, check their websites. They always upload things like this. Also, we have 8 more minutes left, and I think that there are about 3 people raising up their hands, and so we need to be a bit quick about this. So
I do have one more question.
Okay,
can you please type it down in the chat box? Kennedy would respond to it. Yes, please. Just so we just so talk to other people. So Mr. Olukayode Ajasa.
Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning to you.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Kennedy. Yes, I want to confirm, like, for me now, I have, I started from chemistry, my first degree chemistry, my second degree chemistry, and I have transitioned to data science last 2 years. And what course do you think I can push for? And you know that in Nigeria, everybody is going to maybe at the end of the study, you want to stay back and all that. So what is the best course advisable for me? Because I know that this is college, and what of is sure by the nursing, you are finished university, why are you going to college? Does it make any sense?
Okay. I feel like Patricia really is best placed as an agency to guide you through that. But I will just mention that I'm really happy for you with your diverse academic background, that it gives you more opportunities to consider your further studies in. So having a variety of academic backgrounds, it actually works to your advantage. But then you could sit down with your agency, Maple Education, and they can walk you through by evaluating on your academic credentials and help you to see what programs you can fit in. But at least for you, what I'm certain is you have a number of options to select from.
All right. So I would also like to answer
Okay,
this
thank you.
question. Yes, please.
Yeah.
So everything regarding what course you can study, your qualifications and everything, please direct that question or your questions to marketing@mapleeducation.ca.
Wonderful.
We have admissions officers who will guide you through the process. They will let you know what programs you're eligible for, what routes you're eligible for, and every other detailed information. So please do not forget that. So please, every other question that has to do with if you qualify for a certain program or if you need advice on what program to study, please direct your questions to marketing@mapleeducation.ca. I have dropped that in the chat box so that you can always reach out to us. We're always here to listen to you and to answer any inquiry that you would have. Thank you so much, Mr. Olukayode. Any more questions, please? So there's one.
Yes, I do have a question. I have two questions.
Okay, please go ahead.
Yeah, my name is Ekato Esosa. I'm joining from Abuja, Nigeria.
Great.
Yeah, so I actually have already gained admissions to Cambrian College, but I just have a few questions. So I have paid my full 1 year tuition fees. I applied for the health analytics program.
Great.
And I want to know if scholarships are still applicable to me.
Okay, thank you. Just a quick response on that. So at the moment, we don't have like full scholarships, especially for first semester students. But in the subsequent semesters, or at least any subsequent program that you might take, there are a number of merited scholarships that our partners do issue to students. Like I was happy to note, I think last month, there's a student from Cote d'Ivoire who got quite a significant scholarship for her third and final semester. So at the moment, we don't have any scholarship for first semester students, but in our subsequent semesters, you could be eligible for the scholarships that are issued on merit.
My question is actually, okay, I've already paid for the full year for health analytics, and I'm asking if there's still any scholarships I can be qualified for, even if it's not the first semester. If it's still applicable,
pretty much, I believe. And then I believe that by paying a full year, you mean the tuition fee, right?
Yes, that's what I mean.
So you could find any other scholarships, including residency and whatnot, once you proceed on into your subsequent semesters.
Okay, thank you.
Yes,
so my
welcome.
second question, my application for the study permits was delayed due to different factors. So I haven't applied yet to resume this September. So how early do I have to be on ground? Because you mentioned online registrations. So I don't know if that gives me more time.
Actually, with regards to study permit applications, the earlier the better. But I'm happy to note, and I was yet to actually mention this to Patricia and her team. I've noticed that the Canadian embassies have tried to fast track applications. And in countries like Nigeria, that time has reduced significantly. Previously, they used to take about 12 to 14 weeks, but I've noticed it has come to slightly under 10 weeks. So this is just a figurative timeline that they give. It might take slightly more weeks or less weeks, but essentially the earlier you get to apply, the better. But it's never too late. I wish that you can go ahead, at least in the course of this week, to ensure that you submit your study permit application.
Okay.
So, I'd like to ask, when is your start date?
3rd of September.
September. So you have just about 2 months. Usually we advise people to apply for their study permits immediately they get their admission letter, because I know there's some people that get their study permits in even 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month plus. But there are others that get their study permits in 7 months, you know. So you never really can tell, right? And so I would advise that you begin your study permit application immediately so that you're able to meet up. Because if you're not able to meet up, you might have to defer maybe till January. And I don't think that you want that. So I'm more in a better position to advise you regarding this issue. So please start your study permit application right away.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Thank you for that. Thank you for the question.
Okay, so we have 1 more minute. I would like to take somebody else before we end this webinar. Just in case we're not able to answer your inquiry here, I have dropped an email address that you can send your inquiries to. And if you want to start an application, visa processing, admission processing, please reach out to us at marketing@mapleeducation.ca. Everything related to Canada, admission processing, visa process, study permit processing, even tourist visas, visitors visas, immigration, PR, we are your go-to guys. We will help you through your application. Kennedy, the time has come for us to end this webinar. This has been very, very informative. I must appreciate you once again for creating time to be in this webinar. I believe that sometime in the future we'll be speaking again. I see that a lot of people here are interested in coming to Cambrian College, and it's because you've done justice to introducing this college to us. And so thank you very much for joining us. Thank you so much to all of you too who has made our time to join this webinar. It's been lovely having you here. I hope that you've learned 1 or 2 things. In the case that you joined late or you want to revisit this conversation, this webinar will be posted on our YouTube page in about an hour or so. So you can always go back, you know, and hear again what Kennedy has said. So thank you very much, everyone. And enjoy the rest of your day. Goodbye.
Thank you for having me. Goodbye.
Goodbye.